Okay, so we are starting. You good?
Yes.
All right. You ready to make moves?
Yes. I'm looking up some stuff about the Johnson and Johnson vaccine
Okay.
in case I, want to put have some input on that.
All right. Well, I'm gonna start rolling with this since Jay Z was one of the topics. We're gonna. What it fucking do? It's your boy, why fucking Rice? What it do, y'all? This is in fact your boy Rice. And man, how are y'all doing today, man? I am stoked as a motherfucker. I for real am stoked. Hold up, give me 2 seconds. Had to just adjust the backdrop. Can't have y'all seeing how ugly my shit is over here. But yeah, man, what's good? What's Gucci? How y'all doing, man? How are y'all doing? What the fuck is over here? Is that my bottle? Oh, that's the edge of that man. That's the edge of the table. I'm crazy. I'm crazy, man. What's good? What's good? What's good? So, welcome, guys, to the 60 Seconds with Rice recap podcast and additional podcast. This is, in fact, 60 Minutes with Rice, and I am joined today off camera but on mic by my glorious mother. What's up, Ma?
Hello, everybody.
She is rejoining the podcast for podcast number 2. We have a special podcast of our own coming out later this week. I'm very excited on that. So yeah, I mean, the last couple of weeks with this that I've been doing it, I have realized that I have gone on too long in regards to talking about the actual like recap of each video. So I'm like, and I keep saying it, I'm going to keep getting faster and faster with that because I know y'all want to hear more from me and less about shit you've already heard or potentially, shit you're hearing for the first time, but that you want to, you kind of want to move on to like new topics and things. But that's not going to take away from my takes. I'm not going to remove anything that needed to not be removed, man, because like obviously we got some powerful statements that we're going to be doing on here, man. So let's go ahead and get into it. 4 minutes in, let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to pop on over. Here, man. So let's start with episode 96. So again, each Sunday there is going to be a podcast exclusive 60 Seconds with Rice. So you'll see on the IG page that we went from episode 94 to episode 96 publicly because episode 95 is right here within the 60 Minutes with Rice podcast. So, episode 96, let's go ahead and get to it, man. This is what kicked off our week. What it fucking do? It's your boy, why fucking right? Oh, there we go. Messing up already. First time I'm using a mouse, and I'm already fucking up. What it fucking do? It's your boy. Why fucking right? What it do, y'all? This is in fact your boy Rice, and on today's episode of 60 Seconds, there was a fuck ton of music news over the weekend, and we're gonna talk about it. So first and foremost, the man, the mogul, Sean Jay-Z Carter, signed 50% ownership. Whoa. Man, I forgot. So 50% ownership over to the luxury spirit brand Moet Hennessy, thus solidifying. Can't be serious. Thus solidifying the fact that this man just cannot fail. Music, business, it don't matter. He cannot fail. The other thing, man, it came out this morning, was solidified that Daft Punk, after 28 years of making fantastic music, they are calling it quits. They splitsvilled. Great duo. And then also Bobby Shmurda is free. That's lit. All right. So yeah, that was episode 96. It was actually, it was a heavy news weekend. I said it actually in the copy there that I'm a music guy, I'm an entertainment guy, and yet I have been very, very much lacking on talking about entertainment and music things on 60 Seconds with Rice. So I acknowledge the fact that I need to get back to that. But yeah, man, Jay-Z just proven once, time and time again, man, that, You just put your mind to it, man, and you can knock out a bunch of shit. Like big facts. Um, you know, Daft Punk splitting up, man. That's they're an iconic duo within music. It doesn't matter whether you like them or not. You knew of them. So when a duo of that magnitude, when a group of that magnitude, when an artist of that magnitude steps away from the game, man, you know that you're losing a great one for real, for real. And then yeah, Bobby Shmurda, man, he's free. He's free, man. It's cool that his team actually maintained a social media profile for him for when he got out. Even though there was no posts or anything going on, he got out and immediately hopped on it, man. So it's great to see a lot of people, getting behind a real one. So, man, what did you think, Ma, when you heard the Daft Punk news? Because I know for years you've been a fan of their music.
Well, just surprised, but in a way, as artists have been around for a while,
Oh, there you go. That's how you speak into a microphone.
None of us know exactly, unless they choose to tell us what else going on behind the scenes.
That's true.
Why they made that decision. Maybe it's for artistic reasons. Something they want to do, like they want to go out on their own for a change. And put something out there. A lot of artists I've noticed will put some music out that's really quite different, sometimes from what they're known for when they were part of a duo or group.
I mean, do you think they're? I mean,
I don't know what's up, but
I mean, they there wasn't a whole lot of details, but you think they might try to do some solo stuff now that they're?
I don't know. I mean, I guess people can maybe hope for that.
Who knows, man? I think it would be cool. That is Monday's Take, episode 96. That is music news from J to Z. So, and that's another thing with these. I think I'm going to start also kind of talking about the titling itself, because I'm trying to get, like, if y'all ever watch First Take on ESPN, like, whoever does their titles, they get kind of redundant. I'm not going to lie. I've seen the same title a few different times on First Take for a section, but hey, when you're James Harden and the same thing happens to you a couple different times, they're going to kind of go back to the same thing. But for me, I'm trying for each episode to have a unique name, but also a creative name based there. So like music news from J to Z. So I was trying to, because I did multiple pieces of music news from A to Z, try to kind of make a wordplay because of Jay-Z. Anyways, episode 97 should have grabbed a driver. Wordplay on this one is he probably should have hailed an Uber driver, and a driver is a kind of club. So, wordplay. All right, here's episode 97. What it fucking do? Hit your boy, why fucking right? What it do, y'all? This is Infect your boy Rice, and on today's episode of 60 Seconds, we are talking about Tiger Woods. Now, obviously, everyone has probably heard about this already, but prayers up. Was in a terrible accident. Terrible accident. Car hit the median, hit a tree, flipped over, rolled over, did a bunch of shit. They had to pull him through the whole ass windshield. And he had a compound leg fracture with exposed bone. That shit's nuts. My grandma was T-boned years ago, and she had a compound leg fracture. And that shit was fucking crazy. And like, there were all these different kind of complications that went with it. So I already know when they're talking about this shit, I already know how serious it is. He's very, very lucky to have survived. And let this be a lesson to everyone. 1, please wear your seatbelt. Click it or ticket. 2, don't speed down windy roads, please. All right, so that was episode 97. So funny enough, behind the scenes of that one, I lost track of my thought process, because so in the process of recording these, and you saw me having to work through it, I typically will start the timer, or I'll like watch the timer on the recording, and I'll wait until there's 6 seconds have elapsed before I say, what it do, y'all? And the reason I do that is to give time for that what it fucking do, this your boy White fucking Rice section to play out in the beginning without overlapping with it until the middle of the Rice part. And on this one, my dumbass hit record and immediately, like within a second, was like, what it do, y'all? This is your boy Rice and da-da-da. And so I had to go through in that one and actually edit I had to edit the like empty pauses down. I had to like edit the video down. This is one of the only videos I've ever had to do this for. I've had to edit like all of my emptiness down in order to kind of talk about to fit this recording, because it was such a good take. And I did not also want to spend another 5 or 6 or 7 times trying to get the take right, because that take was spot on. Like, that's the take that I wanted, because I fit everything in there. So I just needed to eliminate some noise. But other than that, man, prayers up to Tiger, man. It's good to hear that he's doing well now, doing better anyways. It's just a lot of, man, that just was a really crazy news story to hear, man. Just legends, man. Sports legends, music legends, a lot of legends, man. 2021 has not been, everyone was like, oh, we're turning the page in 2021. 2021 really hasn't been like all laid back and chill, like there's been a lot of music legends and sports legends and people that have passed away already. And I mean, some of them are natural causes, some of them are COVID, some other shit. But it's like, damn, man, like 2021 going after another sports legend. It's crazy. Yeah. Right. And I don't know. When I first heard that it was an accident, I didn't know whether it was him or whether like it was involved in an accident. And I don't know why, man. And this is just me. It first popped into my head because the Tiger doc just came out on HBO Max. And I always look for like coincidental like kind of shit. And like the fact that his documentary dropped on HBO Max that was kind of going over his past and like going over like, the fact that his dad was being some type of way. And like you can see in the photo here that, reports were saying he looked kind of spacey at the event the day before. He was on his way to some like event, like TV show thing to like golf with celebrities or teach celebrities how to golf or some shit. Which again, we're in the pandemic, people. Like, I don't know why like a celebrity, like why we need to shoot celebrities learning how to golf better from Tiger Woods. I don't really know why, but that's what he was on his way to when this happened. So I don't know. Word to the wise. You probably should stay home in the pandemic where people are dying. I don't know, man, but with that said, prayers
so that
up.
we can get through it.
Yeah, so we can get through it, so we can be like New Zealand, man. They out here having fucking music festivals and shit. But with that said, man, we're going to move on to episode 98, which is industry plants. Are they weeds? So let's check it out, and then I will talk more about it. What if fucking did? Bad internet. Ew. It's your boy, why fucking Rice. What it do, y'all? This is in fact your boy Rice, and on today's episode of 60 Seconds, we are talking about industry plants. No, not that plant. Not that kind either. Yep, industry plants. So industry plants, when you're in the entertainment industry, depending on who you ask, it has a different definition, but we're talking about the fact that Alfonso Pierre over at Pitchfork put out an article calling out the CJ rapper from New York, the Whoopty rapper, a shameless ripoff, saying that he's biting the styles of other notorious drill rappers like Pop Smoke and 22 G's and others. 22 G's even weighed in, said he really thinks he's kind of another Tekashi 6ix9ine, just trying to bite the wave. And also in Alphonse Pierre's article, he called out the fact that his uncle was a former president of Bad Boy Entertainment that could have given him leverage within to be an industry plant. That was part of his success. But I'm not from New York. I'm not from the drill scene, so I can't really comment all that much. But what I do want to know is, where do we stand on industry plants? Yay or nay? All right, so that one, so now you kind of get it. Industry plants, are they weeds? And in the photo, you see there, when I was going through the types of plants, it was, I had a regular potted plant, had a weed plant, and then for the final one, I don't know if you could see it or not, if you're watching this on YouTube, is that final one actually had like Warner, Sony, and Universal, like their logos in my hand. It was a little harder to see once I black and whited everything out, but that's more or less what that was. But yeah, man, I mean, entertainment's an interesting place. We all know that the entertainment industry is more who you know than how good you are or what you know. I have come to find that out myself. I have taken advantage of that myself. I mean, shit, that's what they talk about at Full Sail, LA Recording Academy, Berkeley, all these places. Like, they all say the same damn thing. Network your ass off. And I don't know, man. CJ just happens to be related to James Cruz. Again, former president of Bad Boy Entertainment. So that kind of gives, and I'm not saying he didn't work for it. I'm not saying that talent isn't there. But, like, we came to find out that Drake has ghostwriters. We came to find that shit out. And that skews, when you talk about greatest rappers of all time and shit like that, some lists get skewed because they know that Drake isn't penning his own bars. And I'm not saying CJ is not about this street life. I'm not saying that he's not, like, in the New York streets. But when you got people like 22 G's and other cats stepping in and saying, like, they questioning shit. I mean, these are the motherfuckers who've been there. And again, like I said in the video, I'm not from New York. I'm not in the drill scene. I work in rap and hip hop. That's my genre. That's what I love. I'm not involved in it to the point where like I could pick up the aux and play some shit that people wouldn't already know. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm that guy when it comes to drill scene, and I admit that like when it comes to Chicago drill, when it comes to New York drill, like I don't know, man. Like, that's not my scene, really, But I don't know. That's about it for episode 98, man. For me, industry plants, I feel some type of way. Obviously, I run a magazine that's all for independent musicians. That we fight for the independent musicians to keep ownership, to keep their rights, to keep their ownership, to know what, what their value is, and that's part of our mission with Nashville Unsigned is all about the independence. So, so when it comes down to like, industry plants, and I said it in the text, industry plants have a different definition depending on who you ask. Some people think industry plants are just like, and I said it in the text and I'll say it here, industry plants, you could either look at it like an industry plant is somebody who, they're a newer artist. They just kind of got started. They haven't really been at it for all that long, but they get, right time, right place type of thing. The person gets sent a link by somebody over at Warner, over at Sony, and now that there's a bidding war going on and you're picked up and you've only made 2 songs ever. I think it was Billie Eilish with Ocean Eyes. It was her like 3rd song on SoundCloud or some shit that she got discovered. And now she is who she is. There's a lot of artists like that. Drake, he was a former star at Degrassi. Like he came from acting. He had a different sort. He already had an into the entertainment industry. So technically he would fall into that industry plant kind of talk because he already kind of had an in. And now I know he went down to Houston and he did his thing down there. But so I know he like, I know he went down and like he put in some work, but like it didn't hurt that he already had amassed a mass amount of fame and following from being Jimmy on Degrassi. And so now with CJ, we don't know the whole story. We don't know how that played out. But I can't really say all that much on it, man. Like the song is dope. Obviously the beat, has the sample, the primary sample that's been on there before has already been played. On other hip hop tracks, this just happens to be one of the most popular. It got picked up, went viral on TikTok and all of that. But isn't that everything these days? All right. With that said, I know you're not huge into, this isn't really your scene, so you can't comment much on it. I
cannot speak to any of it, really.
Yeah. So we're actually going to move on. So I talk about it in the next episode about, what my dad went through earlier this week. On Tuesday, I actually had to drive all the way from Franklin, Tennessee, where I'm staying down here for a little bit to do business. I had to drive all the way to Lexington because my dad was admitted to the ER up there, and they were going to perform a very serious surgery. And I had to go up there and take care of a couple things for him and take his car back to his house, which is 2 hours away from there, and then drive back 2.5 hours from his house back to Nashville. So it was a whole situation. It was a whole night. Thank God my mom came with me because there was no way I was pulling that off. But we didn't get back here until 3:30 the next morning. So it was brutal, but I got back. I made sure to catch up on all my episodes this weekend. So this is Wholesale Changes, episode 99, in regards to Costco's new minimum wage. Let's check it out. What it fucking do? Hit your boy, why fucking right? What it do, y'all? This is in fact your boy Rice, and on today's episode of 60 Seconds, we are talking about what the Costco CEO had to say on the Senate committee hearing earlier this week. So I know I'm a little bit behind, but I'm catching back up, okay? So let's talk about it. So the CEO gets into this hearing and says, you know what? Starting next week, minimum wage at Costco is going way up. 16 an hour. 16, bro. 16. That's a really fucking dope number, if you ask me, because not only is it going above the 15 that most cities and states and proposals and everything that's out there, it's also setting a precedent that for a major chain like Costco, who more or less, yeah, I get its bulk and it's already discount, but like for a few cents, it's been shown in studies that for a few cents for each product for places like this, you can pay people a livable wage. So I'm hoping this is a good sign, y'all. Fucking dope. So yeah, that's episode 99, Wholesale Changes. I was really stoked to hear about this myself. Like, I know Democrats tried to sneak the $15 minimum wage up inside the COVID plan, even though COVID should be about COVID-19 relief. That's a whole other story that I'll probably talk about a little bit later. But Costco, yet another major company, is following suit of the Whole Foods and the Amazons and well, obviously they're the same thing, but different entities, different, people will still look at a Whole Foods like a grocery store. People will look at Amazon as an online retailer. So, technically, these are two separate industries, even though they're owned by the same corporation, that have a $15 minimum wage. They're setting the standard for that. You have Disney, who's got a workable plan on their own accord to move to 15 an hour. And I think that is the, if you continue to get places like Costco and these other major corporations to come in. I know Walmart put out a proposal that they were moving like 160,000 jobs to, like a 13 and a quarter minimum wage or something like that last year as a way to thank their employees and give their employees a little, make sure that they're doing okay during the pandemic. Companies like this, like it's been shown, like, for a few pennies, for your almond milk to go from $2.79 to $2.85 is all it takes. I know a few pennies here and there add up when you're talking, buying groceries 2 times a month. But is it better to know that when you help impact the change of one industry, that change is also going to come to your industry? It doesn't matter if you're in construction or plumbing and you're like, why should a McDonald's employee get $15 an hour and I'm only getting paid $17.50 and I went to trade school? Well, bro, it's because you've been undervalued. You've been undervalued since the 1970s, since the 1980s. Because plumbers and electricians and construction workers, like, y'all deserve to get paid more than $18, $19 an hour to do what you do. Fam, look at the profit margins on a Roto-Rooter job in comparison to what you make and what they make in order to complete the job. Those profit margins don't add up, fam. You are getting screwed over. It's not the fact that a McDonald's worker doesn't deserve 15 an hour, because that's just that's basic inflation to minimum wage is what that should be. In that ballpark. I'm not keen on the numbers. I'm not a statistician and all of that. But like based on like where inflation has gone since the 70s with the job market, a McDonald's worker should be making 15, and bro, you should be making 30. It's not on McDonald's. It's not on Disney and Amazon and Costco and these places that are leading the charge now individually as companies. It's not on them to tell your boss what they should pay. It's not even on the federal government. We live in a capitalistic society, so it's your boss's decision not to value you for what you're worth. I went through that with South by Sea. I love that company, and I love Brandon to death. But I was severely undervalued at what I was paid. 3 managers left in a span of a few months. Over $120,000 left that door. I picked up a majority of their jobs, overseeing their teams, overseeing their workload. I picked up probably 70 to 80% of that workload, paid the same fucking money.
Well,
I was strictly, and all I wanted was for my salary to go from 37 to 45 plus bonuses. That's all I wanted. All I wanted was to, for my, mind you, $120,000 walked out the door. They did not hire anybody new to cover the shift. And I had to fill in. And I was also, as a manager, as an operations manager, I also filled in the press position that they didn't hire. So I'm not even including the fact that I was working a $17.50 an hour job by myself on top of all my managerial duties. I should have been making over $50K a year doing that shit, doing everything that I was doing, and they weren't going to hire nobody.
Or more.
I should have been making Brandon even admitted it himself. He wanted to pay me. He would have definitely paid me $75, $80 because he knew what I was doing.
Well, every time
but again, it wasn't in the budget, and that's total bullshit.
Well, every time someone left, and those people, those were a lot of management positions, people that were leaving. And I was, talking to you all the time, and, find out a person left and their salary was, pretty large, and you were continuing to absorb other people's jobs, just one of those individuals, making a lot of money. So to say that you're absorbing their duties and you can't, have the raise that you really needed, and was that.
And I'm spending 14 hours a day there too.
I mean, yeah, and that was just wrong.
And my point is not to talk about myself.
Right.
My point is not to talk about myself there, but welcome to corporate America. You will always be told it's not in the budget. It's not in the budget. Yeah. It's not financially possible. It's definitely financially possible. But the problem with corporate America is the people sitting at the top, the CEOs, the CFOs, and the COOs, they want their paychecks to be $5 million plus a year at Roto-Rooter. They want their paychecks to be $5 million a year. The district manager is making $300,000. The regional manager is making $500,000. Like, these companies pay their top people very well and pay the buttload of all the people that actually make the day-to-day work possible. Roto-Rooter wouldn't be shit if they had no technicians to go out and answer these calls, right? These people weren't plumbers. These motherfuckers went to business school. They don't know the ins and outs of the job. These people aren't electricians, but they make all the fucking money. If 3/4 of payroll is paid to the top 5% of a corporation, welcome to capitalist America. It's not about whether McDonald's is now paying $15 an hour. It's whether your company is equally distributing the finances to the people who actually make it get done.
Well, I mean, to even argue the point, the reason why a lot of people are like, oh, this is a really big jump up to 15. Well, for years and years and years and years, the cost of everything's been climbing, for rent, for food,
yep,
for everything, gas, everything you can imagine, that has been accelerating. But there's no way the pay it's just been very stagnated and has not kept up for the average person out there working.
In 20 years, it's gone up from $5.15. 20 years. The last time it went up was 2001. And I spoke on this actually, I think like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. In 20 years, the minimum wage has gone from $5.15 to $7.25.
And a lot
$2.10.
And a lot of benefits have been cut.
Oh yeah.
We don't in America. We don't get paid for maternity, paternity leave like other countries.
Not in most jobs,
and not in most. Not like other countries take. We tend to be on the job more and not do as many vacations as are happening in other countries.
There are countries who allow their employees a half hour of literal, like, we want you to take a nap. Like, they give people nap times.
Well, and
they're fine with that.
Yeah. And something I was out there working for years and years, and I saw it anywhere I worked, where, another way that, that they take from you, and not give you what you really deserve is, they will keep assigning, and like in your job description, it will say, this, and that for your job description. And then it'll say, and duties as assigned. So that means anything could literally be thrown at you. You know,
I love that one.
Yeah. And sometimes you are literally absorbing you're doing the jobs from even different departments or a totally different area that has nothing to do with what you're doing. And they will pile as many duties on you as possible to eliminate jobs. They love to cut the hours. If they cut the hours, you know, sometimes that's legit then that you, you know, your benefits will be cut with the loss of hours. And there's so many, you know, there's a lot of restaurant jobs will have a person, you know, come in for these ridiculous split shifts and just like mess up their day.
Yep.
You know, have people come in and just not give people a fair shake in any way. It's not just the wages, but the wages are very important. But there's a lot of ways they just take a little chunk out of you. And, you know, that might be, well, we want you to work an extra shift. Somebody's not coming in. But, hey, how about instead of overtime, how about if I just give you some comp pay, or I'll let you take an extra, like a 2-hour lunch once a week. You know, I've seen stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. And
you know,
so like, and that reminded me of my time with Bird. When Bird called me up, you know, what was it? Summer of 2019. When Bird called me up and was like, and tried to, and like offer me a job, I said, I asked the guy one thing. I said, is this a guaranteed 40 hours a week? I'm not taking a job that I don't have guarantee for. And because he saw my resume, he saw the management experience, and they needed somebody like me on that team. That's what he said, that they needed reliable people who had, because it was an autonomous position, you know, like it was something that was self-managed. You didn't have someone overseeing you. And so they needed reliable people. And I said, I will not work for a company that's not going to guarantee me full-time work. I'm like, I need 32 plus hours, but ideally I need a guarantee that this is a 40-hour a week job. He gave me that guarantee in June when I interviewed. And then in July when I started, I again verified 40 hours a week, right? Like I'm not going to get fucked over at any point. Come December, when obviously Nashville gets cold and Bird scooters aren't getting rented, they cut my hours to under 25. And I said,
suddenly, without
notice. And I had just invested. I just bought a brand new case with a battery pack for my cell phone. So like I didn't have to stay plugged into a car or like stop and find an outlet somewhere or anything like that. And it was like, all right, bet. So I called up my managers. I said, oh, why is my schedule next week under 30 hours? And they said, well, we don't have the hours for people like that. And I said, no. Here's the thing. When I interviewed and when I got hired, it was under the precedent. I would always have full-time hours, that I was not to drop below 32 hours ever. Full-time or bust. Oh, there goes the emergency alert. We getting floods.
Oh, it's mine too.
Yeah, that's your phone too. Probably my other phone somewhere.
Flash flood warning.
Davidson County. Anyways, I called them up and I said, you can call the hiring person and you can talk to them. I have their number saved in my phone. Just in case of some bullshit like this, you can call them up and verify the conversation that they guaranteed me 40 hours upon my hire. Next day, my schedule was fixed, and while everyone else's hours were getting cut, I had full-time hours, and they had to tell me to keep it on the down low because I gamed the system. I looked at what it could be because they will try to fool you into thinking it's not something that it is. But we got to get off this topic, man. We're already at 35 minutes. We got to shake and bake. We got to shake and move. Keep this thing moving because we're going to wind up at 50 minutes and still not shit to talk about. So this is episode 100, man. But that was an important topic. I think that was an important topic. You know, that was worth the investment of the time.
Lots more to say about that, but
I mean, there's so much to say. You can go on an entire 60-minute rant just on that shit.
Or a week.
Yeah, basically. So this is episode 100. Pops Wait Light. Episode 100. 100 fucking episodes, guys. I'm really proud of myself. I fucking made it. I started doing this back in 2017. So holy fuck, man. I think, these don't get a whole hell of a lot of traction, comments and views and all of that stuff, at the moment. But the goal is consistency, man. Getting back to consistency, because back in the day, people loved this. And now that I'm reading up, I've got a lot of people who are coming back to me from the different social platforms, who are kind of rediscovering and discovering the fact that I do these. And I think the facelift is helping too. I think doing it in a little bit of a different, more produced style is really helping. But this is episode 100. Pop's weight loss goals are afoot. What it fucking do? It's your boy, why fucking Rice.
What it do, y'all? This is in fact your boy Rice, and on today's episode of 60 Seconds, we are talking about my dad's weight loss this week. So you might be thinking, hey, started a Nutrisystem recently. Shedding the poundage. Hell yeah, go for it, bro. Well, actually, this is a different kind of weight, different kind of health. So my dad actually had a collapsed artery in his leg for the last 3 years that has more or less been a pain in the ass. More like, in this case, a pain in the foot. Because it has caused a lack of blood flow that has caused nerve damage in his foot, making it feel like he is walking on glass 24/7. He can barely sleep. The doctors won't give him pain medicines. They've done over a dozen surgeries. Nothing fixes the problem. Well, last year, finally, his doctor said, hey, we've gone through the process. We can amputate now if that's what you want, quality of life. Well, that doctor left the practice. New doctor came in, said, we got to start the process over. And Dad said, fuck off. So this week, he got tired of waiting, checked himself into the ER, and as an inpatient, was able to get his leg chopped off. So, go Pops.
So, yeah. So my dad got his amputation. I spoke with him again earlier this afternoon. He was actually in very high spirits. Said they gave him a walker, and he's making his way around, getting used to walking on one foot. But, I mean, he said when his leg is just sitting, he feels no pain. Now, obviously, when you have a leg amputated, part of your leg amputated.
Well, probably on some good pain meds right
yeah,
now.
well, he said that they're walking him through a pain management system, trying to figure out how long he should go between pain and how long does it go before his pain comes back and what circumstances. So they're trying to test a bunch of different things with him, see what pain medication works best, what different time periods, things like that. So, but he was in very high spirits. He was feeling good, feeling confident. He's going to go to a rehabilitation center to work with a specialist on kind of like living life now, with it missing a right foot. He's got to wait 3 months before they make a prosthetic.
And most of the bottom part of his leg, right?
Yeah, and so that was the thing is with the nerve damage to his foot, it wasn't just when he was walking that his foot hurt. It was a 24/7 thing. It was a 25/8 thing. More than likely to my dad, because he couldn't sleep. Like he would sleep for maybe an hour or two. He'd take a sleeping pill, go to sleep, as soon as he would fall asleep, the second that his leg moved or rubbed in the blanket the wrong way or something, it would hurt again. And so now that the part where his vein was collapsed and his nerve damaged foot is gone, he doesn't feel pain like he used to.
We had to go through so much wound care, and sometimes you were saying he couldn't even walk, hardly at all, and just adding up all the surgeries, all the hopes that it would be okay, then it would come back maybe even worse than before.
Oh yeah.
It was just too much to keep going on.
Well, and the reason that all those surgeries happened is, my dad started talking amputation like 2 years ago. Like a year into this thing, he was like a year and like 3 or 4 surgeries into this, he was like, we got to fucking do something about this more permanent, because this whole like getting this shit clean shit ain't flying. And it, me and my dad talked about it. It was all a cash grab because he's retired on Medicaid, Medicare, whatever.
No,
plus
he's probably just on Medicare.
He's on Medicare. Plus he has his own private insurance that covers everything else. So like, no matter what, he was like, every single bill would be covered at the hospital. So like the doctors kept doing the surgery and kept telling him, no, your quality of life isn't there yet, and we still have to prove it to the insurance agency. That's a whole other fucking thing, because I'm dealing with my busted ass elbow years later. I dislocated my elbow on December 3rd, 2017. I can only bend my elbow that far in comparison to this elbow that can come all the way to my shoulder. Like and they still, because I requested a healing surgery after like a month after I ended my PT, for them to go in and clean out extra bone fragments and kind of dislodge some of the muscles that are too tight.
They didn't set that right in the first. I mean,
they set it right, but the problem is that there is scarred muscle tissue that needs to be repaired, and there's also very tiny bone fragments that are just sitting right in my joint that are just keeping it there. And what it does is they go in and scrape those microscopic bone fragments that are holding my bone, like my elbow there. Well, for me to get this surgery again now, I would have to go through another 2 months of physical therapy 3 times a week at $75 to $100 a pop to prove to the insurance that my elbow can't be fixed. Fam, it's done been fucking tried.
Right.
So this was just another cash grab. We got to move on, man. I can't rant on the fucking medical game because I will fucking do it.
Well, I was just going to say, I used to work in an insurance place where everything we did would be surgeries that you just can't easily get. And you have to say, I went through process A, B, C, D. I tried these different things before they would approve it. You would have to prove that you tried physical therapy, but it didn't have any success for you, etc. And, different things like that. But, something that maybe people don't know that you can do is you can ask a doctor to say, can you please, in a letter, can you please explain to my insurance straight from the doctor why I am not a candidate for physical therapy?
Well, the problem that I've run into and the doctors I've spoken to, they're the ones telling you have to go through it because they don't want to do that. Because everything is in network. Because the doctors and the PTs and everybody typically they all work within the same network. So like TriStar here in Nashville is like, nah, you got to go to our physical therapist first, and then you got to do fucking water therapy, and you got to do all this bullshit. And then finally, I'll recommend, if you do that, then I'll recommend it. No, motherfucker, you are on a cash grab, but we got to move on. I can't fucking do this. We got to go. Episode 101, Big Johnson Energy. What it fucking do? It's your boy, why fucking right?
What it do, y'all? This is Infect Boy Rice, and on today's episode of 60 Seconds, we are talking about Johnson & Johnson's COVID-19 vaccine and the fact that they just got the FDA emergency use authorization passed. Whew. What a mouthful. Now, just like anything, though, I see a lot of confidence right now about the fact that this is out, that we're going to have more access, etc., etc. There's a lot of Big Johnson energy out there. But just like anything, there's pros and cons. Pro, it's a one-shot vaccine. You don't need a booster. Just like college basketball players that got a lot of talent, it's one and done. But the con, efficacy rates. It's the thing that tells you if you get COVID, are you going to get severe symptoms? Efficacy for Moderna and Pfizer is in the mid-90s. This is in the mid-80s. People have then brought up that this should not then become the vaccine mostly distributed to low-income areas because it's got a lower efficacy rate, that it needs to be fair.
Okay, so that was episode 101, Big Johnson Energy. So going back to episode 100, Pop's weight loss goals are afoot. So he did start Nutrisystem last year. The reason this title is there, afoot, when you say it the way that it's spelled on there, means like to start something, that it's at the beginning of something. So like his weight loss goals are afoot because not only, is it in the term that like now he can get back to his active lifestyle when he gets a prosthetic and he can actually start losing weight in a physical sense by actually participating in life outside of a couch. That in this, he actually lost actual physical weight because a whole ass part of his leg was cut off because they cut off a foot. So, wordplay. The wordplay on this one, Big Johnson Energy, it's a play off of Big Dick Energy that was created when Ariana was dating a homie from SNL, Pete Davidson. Big Dick Energy was born, and it still lives on the internet today. So when Johnson & Johnson came out with this, I automatically knew that when I was talking about this, Big Johnson Energy would be the name because, Johnson, Dick. Yeah. I'm funny. I don't know, man. I don't know how to feel about this. I'm somebody who as a result of my own immunocompromisation, being immunocompromised, let's just go with that way. I have always, anytime I gotten a flu shot, my ass gets fucking sick for days.
But that's what they.
There's a difference. You're supposed to inject me with dead cells that my body is supposed to think are alive and react and build antibodies, right? But for some fucking reason, they give me the flu and that motherfucker just kills me.
Yeah.
So I can't be held up. I can't be held up because they fucking inject me with some mRNA, or RNA, whatever the fucking the cloning shit they did to mutate what COVID is supposed, or emulate what COVID is supposed to look like in your bloodstream with Moderna and Pfizer. Johnson & Johnson's a little bit of a different formula in that they're using a virus that they were able to change its state where it mimics COVID in the body. But it doesn't replicate like COVID in the body. But
I was going to read a little bit about that in a minute, about how it actually works. And as far as like your average flu shot, and I didn't understand this. I thought some people were having, quote, a bad reaction to the flu shot, which you can, but that can happen. But someone said, because someone I know took the flu shot this year and got pretty sick. And they're like, well, it's working because it thinks that virus is in there, and
but my body is making me sick. And that's not
because your immune system wants to, a fever is how your body is fighting it, or inflammation, et cetera, et cetera. But, so it can be, different for different people.
But I mean, my thing is like when I have the years that I have gotten the flu shot, and been down for days feeling like shit, are also the same fucking years that I catch the flu.
Well,
when I for years now, for years since I left for college, me personally, I have not personally sought out a flu shot myself. You want to know how many times I've actually caught the flu? Not that fucking many.
Okay, so
But if every year I went to get a flu shot, I basically would be giving myself the flu at least once a year.
Okay, so we found out because first day of school.
Let's not do a whole. We don't have time for a whole backstory, Mom. Either read the shit or I gotta move on.
I just wanted to say that we found out because you kept getting sick. I thought maybe allergies morphing into like secondary infections. And he did blood work and found out, he told me that most likely that piece of your immune system was just, what he said, it was just defective, not there when you were born. And that makes you vulnerable to like flus and not flus, but pneumonia,
flus, pneumonias,
bronchitis, that sector or that category. So that, presented a problem for you, and it presents an extra special
and that's
alert for you during COVID.
Well, and that's why COVID scares the holy living fuck out of me. And that's also why these vaccines, I understand that it's they're using cloning technologies and shit now. It's not dead coronavirus, cells.
Right.
But it's still the fact that if my body reacts the way to a COVID vaccine, and I've talked with people who have, because of their profession, have had to get it. They're first responders, people like that. They're working at hospitals and shit like that, so they have to get it. Well, they've told me that booster shot, they were glad they were off for the next day or two because that booster shot whipped their ass hard. And for me, I don't want to go through that because I know if that's happening to people who have good immune systems, what is it going to do for me, for somebody who every time I have gotten a vaccine for something, it fucks me up. Now, obviously, I'm not saying I'm not going to get one, but I'm that same motherfucker who doesn't pre-order the cell phone right away, and I wait for the Samsung batteries to blow up on a few people, on a plane and shit before I go grab me a Samsung Note. I'm the motherfucker who waits for the Xbox to run through the first iteration or two before I go cop it. I'm not one to lead the way. But
what they're saying here, Johnson & Johnson has an Adenovector vaccine, which uses double-stranded DNA to promote an immune system response in the body. This technology works differently than the mRNA vaccines available from Pfizer and Moderna, which both use a single-stranded RNA. In the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, researchers added a piece of genetic material from the novel coronavirus spike protein, the piece that latches onto human cells, into another virus. They put that into another virus, the adenovirus 26, and which was modified so that it has the ability to enter into the cell but not reproduce inside.
The same as the mRNA or whatever. But the point being, though,
so it can't replicate. It can't replicate, but your system will, So it says here it can't.
I don't know, man. Like, I have my doubts. I have, obviously, and I'm not speaking as like a conspiracy theorist. I'm speaking as somebody who has gone through hell when it comes to his health.
Well, everybody has to consider their own individual reasons, and do their own research.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not out here throwing around fucking CPAC lies and shit about COVID-19 and about Mr. Potato Head. But I'm, I'm a realist especially when it comes to my own body. I encourage everyone to help us move beyond the, vaccine stage by getting the vaccine, moving beyond the mask stage by getting the vaccine. These are the things that will help us create that herd immunity everyone talks about. Well, here we go again. 53 minutes in. This has actually been the longest time I've run through a 60 seconds recap. So that didn't work out too well. But, that's how life goes, I guess. Oh, look, the tweet I tried to send earlier finally messed around and did it. Well, I am, and I still haven't fucking done my 60 seconds take. Fuck. Wow. All right, well, time to get into 60 seconds. So let's move it over here. What should I talk about today, Ma? Hit me with the topic. No. I need to actually dive into that later in the week. I haven't watched SNL. How can I give a topic about SNL if I haven't watched SNL? Literally nothing. I've been stuck in Franklin for 2 weeks. I don't know. There's so many news stories, and you're giving me the shit I literally can't talk about.
Just things we can help each other with, as we still try to get through COVID.
I'm not trying to talk about positive messages and shit. I'm not trying to give positive messages. I'm trying to talk about news stories here, man.
Okay, I don't know. You get things up, I'll tell you in a minute.
I don't have a minute. I got fucking 6 minutes left on this podcast. Okay, well, while I am debating and taking a quick step, let's take a quick step away. And this is for the audio listeners. Let's take a quick step away to hear my take on shit. Another take on shit. Okay. All right. All right, so let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about a weird topic that went down this week. So let's look at the timer, and let's start us to 60 seconds, man. What it fucking do? Hit your boy, why fucking right? What it do, y'all? This is in fact your boy Rice, and on today's episode of 60 Seconds, we are talking about Lady Gaga's dog and dog walker and the weirdness surrounding this entire story that has unfolded. So earlier in the week, her dog walker was shot and her 2 French bulldogs were stolen. Like, what the fuck is up with what the fuck is wrong with people? Like, who are you? And then some lady, I'm looking now, some lady returned the dogs we're like, I found the dogs to the police. And it just raises more questions like, what the fuck happened? Like, what is this, a rabid fan? How are you a fan of somebody and you're going to go cause them fucking distress? She put up $500,000 for this dogs. Now, they say pets are family. She showed she ain't lying about that. She put up that $500,000 quick. So respect to Lady Gaga for loving her dogs. All right, so that was my 60 seconds with Rice take, man. But for real, though, like, Lady Gaga's a real one. Pets are our family. We need to respect animals and respect our pets. And that will be a topic we actually jump into later this week as myself and my mother do launch a series that I am calling 60 Minutes with, and then my guest name. They will not be just 60 minutes. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that the people I talk with and about the passions and the work and everything that they got going on, it will be very rare we only stick to 60 minutes. So do not get confused by the name. But what it is like they are joining the podcast. So and it becomes their platform to speak on what they're about and for me to learn their passions and their goals. So we will be talking more about animals and respecting animals and vegan lifestyle and things later in the week when I drop this special episode. So keep an eye out on that for, I'll say probably Wednesday. I will get everything edited down from earlier in the week. But I'm really excited about that. Other news stories, the Lakers suck if 2 out of the 3 best players do not play. So Dennis Schroeder and Anthony Davis, they both were out for a while, and they tanked. They looked like total ass. I mean, they got blown out. I turned off the games by halftime most of the time. It was terrible to watch. And then Dennis Schroeder comes back and they play like fucking beast modes. So clearly they need at least 2 of the 3 guys to LeBron, AD, and Schroeder to play. They need 2 of the 3 in a straight. Let's see. The Billie Eilish doc dropped. That was actually something that I'm really stoked on watching. I believe that was Apple TV, if I'm not mistaken. They dropped that on. Luckily, because of me getting his iPhone a little bit, last year, I got it on a deal. They gave me Apple TV for a year, so I actually need to log in and look at that. The House of Representatives have passed the COVID-19 $1.9 trillion COVID-19 package. 0 Republican support. It passed on party lines. Do we expect anything else, man? The Republicans are a fucking cult right now. They will literally vote to accept or deny anything that that Dick McConnell tells them to do, or that 45D Dump, Mr. Dump tells them to do. Speaking of, CPAC has been going on all weekend. I'm going to dive a little bit more into it once it all wraps and I can kind of compact some of the information. I'll probably dive into it more post-event than I am right now. I've been trying to avoid negativity, and all that's going to do is bring me down. But they did roll in a fucking giant golden calf looking ass thing. It's funny that these, I'm a Christian, and I have to keep saying it. I'm a Christian. Y'all just rolled in a makeshift golden calf of 45. You understand the sin of idolizing false gods, right? What the fuck was that? Damn, loud as shit. Y'all understand the irony in that, right? That shit be fucking funny, man. What else am I missing, man? I ain't really seeing anything else that I'm missing, man. Of this week, there's probably some shit that I definitely fucking spaced on. Probably saved some tweets here. Ted Cruz still a piece of shit. Let's see. I don't know, man. That's about all I got for real. Pulled up at the tattoo shop. Just closing it out. Pulled up at the tattoo shop. I am now officially white rice with the double rice bowl emojis. I have solidified that. So shout out to DJ Money Green, Kelly Height, Chris J, DJ Woo, and all the family that kind of helped me adopt that nickname and really kind of build that brand up early on. My boy Kangaroo as well. That just, I became White Rice, and y'all helped solidify that brand, man, with everybody in the hip hop industry here and in Atlanta, and that really solidified the branding that I got going on, man. So yeah, man. Yeah, dog. So for everybody who's been tuning in, man, thank you so much for tuning in all week to 60 Seconds with Rice. Thank you for tuning in to 60 Minutes with Rice podcast on wherever you get it. Again, you can hear it on all streaming platforms, DSPs. I'm moving on over to Pandora as well. If you are over there, I'm moving it to Pandora this week as well. If you are on YouTube, you can make sure to follow me. Just Google, White Rice, 60 Minutes with Rice, anything like that, and you will find your boy. I am on all social platforms, as you can see below. If you're watching the video, at Nicknamed Rice. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Nicknamed Rice. With that said, again, this is White Rice with the double rice bowl emojis, and your boy is fucking out of this beast. What it fucking do? It's your boy White fucking Rice.